Hello to everybody on this new channel where I'm talking all about the main events of today's racing. It's a brand new channel. My name's Luca, I'm 18 years old, huge racing fan, and I thought I'd create a channel to give myself a bit of a platform to spread about my opinions. Obviously, I like to talk about this, and it's been nice to engage with the wider public about horse racing and talk about all of the main events happened today and all the main bits of news that occurred today. So I'm going to start off with over in Ireland. Obviously, Footpad's long-awaited return since blowing all rivals away in the Arkle. First run back since winning that wonderful race in March, and unfortunately, she fell on at the final fence, which was unlucky really. Of course, St Calvados, Harry Whittington's horse, won the race and ran back to form really well after really engaging in a early ding-dong with Petit Mouchoir in that race, and in the Arkle, and he really did blow his chances early on. His horse lots to go from the front. He actually ran really well in this race. Jumped very well on the Gavin Sheehan, gave him a peach of a ride, was pinging fences all over the shop, and really had Footpad under pressure, and obviously coming down to the final fence. St Calvados went in, shortened up, pinged the top of it, and then obviously Footpad clipped for the top of it, sprawled down on the floor, and Ruby Walsh, who was on the deck a couple of times during the day as well, on some other fancy Dwelly Mullins horses, he came out over the top of the horse's head, and the horse came down and suffered an overreach injury, but getting that right with a tongue twister, which could see her out for a while, which is disappointing. Obviously, we don't like seeing these better horses of the better horses get injured. It's not ideal, but the horse's welfare comes first before running out in public, and we hope she gets better. A very good chaser. And there was talk of her maybe extending on to 3 miles during taking on the King George lot, some of the older boys over the 3 miles. Whether or not that's looking likely now, I'm not too sure. I highly doubt that. Maybe she might be kept fresh now and might have a possible tilt at Cheltenham, maybe. Who knows? Obviously, going into domestic over here in the UK today, in England, obviously, a couple of good runs. Talking of a very eye-catching winner of the race in UK chase at Aintree was Warsound. North from out over fences prior to this, Tom O'Brien rode the Philip Hobbs trained horse, and from about two or three fences out, he looked like the most likely winner. He was absolutely cruising in behind the eventual runner-up in King's Odyssey, who's been really knocking on the door all season last year, and to come second. He'll win a race soon. There's definitely a race in him. He's a good progressive type of chaser. He'll probably... I'd like to see him go back for the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. He ran very well in that last year behind Guitar Pete, and I'd definitely like to see him go for that again. Leighton Aspel will give him a very good ride. And obviously we've seen them Kappa Blur and State of Play colours running well around Aintree before, and to come second to a good sort of Philip Hobbs is nothing wrong with that at all. Warsound was very impressive. Really travelled through the race smoothly. Tom O'Brien gave him a really good ride in behind the leaders, brought him out in between the second last and last, punged the last, and really just ran away with it quite comprehensively on that short Aintree running over the chase course. No doubt about that. A comfortable winner. Could be a very progressive horse in the not too distant future. Could be a couple of good races open for him throughout the season, and could be one to keep an eye out on as well. But I definitely think King's Odyssey is a horse we'll keep on the right side of this season. Very good progressive type. Second in his first run this season. I definitely think there's a big pot in him somewhere along the line in between the winter months. Definitely want to keep your eye on. Obviously, moving on to the same card, Aintree. Holston won his seasonal appearance in the 3 mile hurdle today. Beat some very good horses in Agrapart, a very good soft ground specialist. Won the Cleve hurdle last year for Nick Williams, and also You Know What I Mean Harry as well. A very good horse of Harry Fry's. Probably a little bit underwhelming last season, but it's looking to put that behind him. Has had wind surgery in the off-season, and is looking to try and really bounce back and bring some of that early form he had showed in his earlier part of his career, which really did leverage him up to being a really good potential staying hurdler. Obviously, he ran on for minor placings in this, and Holston really did grind this out. A typical Nigel Twiston Davis 3 miler, stays the trip very well, saw out the race very well, jumped the last and really galloped on to all the way to the line under Sam Twiston Davis. Definitely a horse I think could run a big race in some of the major championship 3 mile races this season at Aintree and Cheltenham as well. Obviously came close in the World Hurdle, Stayers Hurdle in fact, at the Festival of March, and also coming in behind Identity Thief for Aintree in the spring as well. So, was obviously down to run last week in the Charlie Hall card in the Bet365 hurdle. Didn't run there, the ground wasn't suitable enough. He's a soft ground horse, the ground didn't really ease enough at Wetherby last week, and the sound of surface today has definitely really helped him. He looked very impressive. We'll come on for the run, obviously, like a lot of these horses will do early on. We're still early days yet in this season, and I definitely think he'll be one who'll be definitely chasing a big prize in the spring festivals. Obviously, moving on down to Doncaster, the final turf meeting of the season, with major turf meeting of the season. November Handicap is always the curtain pulls the curtain down on the turf season domestically. And John Gosden's had a great season, and Royal Line absolutely hacked up in this race, didn't they, on the Robert Havlin. He was really travelling like the most likely winner a couple of furlongs out. Got the gaps at the right times, got the splits, and really did win in convincing fashion. Most likely winning from about a mile out, as I said, in the famous Maroon Silks, and definitely it's been a fantastic season for John Gosden. His horses have really lit up our screen summer. The likes of Stradivarius, Roaring Lion, and Able. To do what she did was absolutely fantastic last week. To win a Breeders' Cup after winning such a tough race in the Arc as well was outstanding. And these horses that stay training next week, stay in training next year. Sorry, I definitely think Royal Line could be a good potential group horse, maybe a Group 3, Group 2 horse next year if he were to stay in training. Obviously, no doubt John Gosden wants to do that and will definitely try and step up in class. Maybe even listed on a seasonal appearance before maybe looking to go into Pat and Company. But I think he's definitely a progressive sort. Robert Havlin said he probably got there a bit too soon towards to finish the race, but he had enough in hand and won quite cosily in the end ahead of the chasing pack. Definitely one to keep an eye out for in early March. Could even be a potential Lincoln horse, maybe dropping back in trip from a mile 3 to about a mile. Would it be short enough for him? I'm not too sure, but definitely could be a shout for a Lincoln horse maybe next season. Obviously, moving back into the main talking point was Badger Isles Trophy Day. We're going to get onto that big race itself in a minute. We're going to talk about Vidana Blue, who won the Elite Hurdle today, very, very convincingly as well, beating two good horses in We Have a Dream of Nicky Henderson's, and also If the Cap Fits of Harry Fry's. If We Have a Dream was sent up 7-4 favourite, was probably expected to win this quite comprehensively. Didn't do that and was found off the bridle coming into the home bend before 2 hurdles out, and was really beaten after coming up to the final flight. Obviously, If the Cap Fits come up alongside, and also Vidana Blue under Jeremiah McGrath really was in behind. Won a very good race at Kempton last season, beating some good horses as well by a country mile, and really did show some convincing style this season. Could be a potential champion hurdle horse. Obviously, Nick Henderson is going to have Bouvardere as his main stable chance this season. Looking strong with another champion hurdle for him. Very good horse in his own right. Very good hurdler. Slick, quick, fast hurdler. But this horse here, Vidana Blue, can definitely make a step up. I definitely think he's more capable of doing something good this season as well, and can definitely build on a Grade 2 hurdle win so early on in the season. Entered in the Greatwood Hurdle at the November meeting next Sunday, in exactly around a week's time. Whether or not she'll run in that, I don't know. We should be carrying a lot of weight going into a handicap after winning in graded company. Might be a bit too much of an ask, I think. Probably best to swerve that and maybe focus on some more graded targets within the next coming months of this season. And obviously we are going to culminate this video. We're talking about the absolute brilliant story coming out today. Present Man winning back-to-back Badger Isles trophies. And what an absolute fantastic ride Bryony Frost gave that horse today. It was absolutely brilliant. Was hassled on the front end by On Demand on Wayne Hutchinson, trained by Colin Tizard. Wasn't an easy run really, but every time she asked the horse to pick up, it pinged fence after fence. 2 out was an absolute brilliant sight where she gave him a kick in the belly, really sent him over that fence, and then really jumped the last well as well, and really galloped onto the line. 2 willing partners who are probably made for each other really. She's a fantastic jockey, one of my favourites by a long mile. Really knows how to get a tune out of a horse, and that's definitely a horse maybe for the Grand National. I think Paul Nicholls did say he wants to go down the Grand National route with him, potentially. I think it definitely suits the National, I think. He's a horse who can get into a good rhythm off the front end of a race, jumps very well. I definitely think he could be a horse for the National at a big price if we were to get him. I think Paul Nicholls also said he's going to work for the Grand National and work backwards then, and hopefully try and keep getting into the race this time next year in the Badger Isles Trophy again for a third timer off a handicap mark of under 155, which could be a bit of a hard achievement. But if Paul Nicholls is more than capable of doing that, I definitely think the National and another Badger Isles Trophy are more than capable of winning the Badger Isles and also having a good run in the Grand National as well. Should be a good season ahead for that boy. I think maybe he's also entered in the Beecher Chase or the Sefton as well at Aintrie's Beecher meeting in December, coming up in a couple of weeks where they run 2 races over the national fences for national trials to pick out early contenders. I definitely think if he were to take to a duck to water in that race, either two, I definitely think he could be a good horse for either the National, the Topham, or even the National or Topham. So if you did enjoy this video, guys, please let me know in the comments. Hit the thumbs up button as well, be greatly appreciated. I'm looking forward to doing more content. November meeting at Cheltenham coming up. I'll be doing my tips on Thursday night and preview for the Friday meeting and the Saturday meeting and also the Sunday meeting as well. All rolled into one, so that should be very, very good. Plenty of racing going on over the weekend and during the week. We'll probably be back maybe Thursday or Thursday evening to preview all the big meetings ahead at the weekend. So take care. See you soon.